Today we're looking at the Olympus E510. It's a digital SLR that comes loaded with all the latest technology, but how does it perform? The Olympus E510 is a replacement for the E500. It's superficially very similar, but if you put the two side by side there are a few differences. As you can see, the E510 is a little bit curvier, a little bit more stylish. The prism's been redesigned. It's a bit smaller in fact, but otherwise it's quite similar. The E510 has a 10 megapixel sensor, 4/3 type sensor, and a new processor called the TruePic 3, which is faster than its predecessor, letting you shoot 3 frames a second for an unlimited number of JPEGs or 8 RAW frames before the buffer fills up. But that's not the big story with this camera. The really interesting thing about this camera is there are 3 technologies which are pretty hot right now, and this is the only camera that has all 3 of them. Feature number 1. Like all Olympus E series digital SLRs, it has a supersonic wave filter. This shakes dust off the sensor when you switch the camera on to make sure that the sensor is nice and clean and dust free. Technology number 2 is Olympus's live view system. Like the E410, this has a system that lets you view the scene on the LCD before you take the picture. There aren't many cameras that can do this. On this one you just press the button and you can see, just like with a compact camera, you can see the scene before you shoot, which is quite useful for using the camera on a tripod for macro shots or for shooting at funny angles where it's hard to see through the viewfinder. Technology number 3 is image stabilization. Olympus has fitted the E510 with a mobile sensor that moves to counter the effects of camera shake. Now, by fitting a moving sensor into the camera, it means that any lens you fit to this camera will have the benefit of image stabilization. Whereas with some systems, when the stabilization is in the lens, it means you do have to buy the specially stabilized lenses, which are a bit more expensive. Now, the image stabilization is one of 2 features on the E510 that sets this camera apart from Olympus's sibling, the E410. The other thing that sets it apart is this hand grip. The E410 does have the dust reduction and it does have live view, but it doesn't have image stabilization and it doesn't have this grip. Now, I think the grip improves the handling, makes it easier to hold. It does make the camera a bit bigger and heavier though, so it's really a matter of personal preference. The E510 has one of the most comprehensive exposure metering systems of any digital SLR on the market, comprising 49 zone ESP metering, center weighted and spot patterns, and it also features Olympus's highlight and shadow spot options. The Olympus is the only company that uses this. The result is that exposures are reassuringly consistent. White balance is also very good. But the new live MOS sensor is what really impresses. It really delivers very low noise. At normal ISOs up to ISO 400, it's basically non-existent. Even at prints up to A3 size. And if you rack up the ISO to about ISO 1600, it does appear, but it's not offensive, and it's certainly better than a lot of other cameras. The only downside is, like the E410, the dynamic range is a little bit limited, which means that it's more likely to blow highlights or shadow detail. It's a little bit harder to capture such a wide range of contrast with this camera as it would be for some other cameras. So the conclusion, should you buy one of these? Well, it is a very good camera. It's the only digital SLR that features live view, dust reduction and image stabilization all in the same camera. The performance is very good, image quality is very good. It really comes down to whether you're happy with the 4/3 system. The smaller sensor though does allow Olympus to produce slightly smaller cameras and smaller lenses, so it does have benefits, and the image quality is every bit as good as the cameras using APS-C size sensors. So overall we give the Olympus E510 an impressive 90% score and the coveted What Digital Camera Gold Award.